All right. We're back. Still on the same page as ever. Because, you know, it's how we roll apparently now. There we go. Camera seems to be having some trouble, so we're gonna see how long this thing lasts for. Frankly, I'm amazed it's lasted this long, honestly. Okay, so we're gonna do some warm-ups here as well, because I need to. We should, yeah, be on the pencil. Honestly, I think that's a big thing that's really slowing me down. Is I jump into doing pages too soon. I don't really give myself a lot of time to warm up. Truth be told, I should be warming up earlier in the day, but I've been kind of lazy as of late. So that's what getting sick will do to you, though, I guess. We'll see how I do today. I don't know, I've just been feeling off the last couple weeks, I guess. Just unfortunate. Probably a number of things. I have to draw her twice. This one will be easier than this one. This one I gotta get right. And it shouldn't be tricky, but I know it's going to be because I've just been not drawing great as of late. These guys shouldn't be too terribly hard. I'll need to figure out like how to reduce them, but I have their designs figured out and they're really far away, so should be fine. I suspect that's all I'm going to get done today, though. So we'll have another page done by the end of this, hopefully, but I don't know how much else. And come on. Yeah, I just feel like my control has been really lacking as of late. I think it's just been a lack of practice and kind of being taken out of it. I'm just gonna clear that. I can get myself into a better spot here. feels a little better. Alright, let's do... It's sort of right, but also not really. A little bit wider. Kind of a mediocre drawing, honestly. Her hair also doesn't come up that high. Well, let's give it a shot here. Pull the neck back here. That's not right. None of that's really right. What's up, Firebug? Good to see you here. Not crazy about this mouth, huh? I'm not crazy about this face either, but I think it might work. Fairly intent with where she's looking. Struggle is real, yeah. Lately for me, yeah, the struggle for drawing has been pretty real. Kind of odd. I don't think it's burnout. I think maybe I'm just, I don't know, not in good habits right now. Just my fault. So I gotta get better about doing more warm-ups and exercises and things like that, and I think that'll get me back into the mode. But it happens, you know, you kind of fall out. Especially after you get like sick and stuff like that, like I've been the last few weeks. So you gotta kind of rebuild that momentum. Her hair is slightly long. Yeah, that is the kind of silver lining to it, right? Is when you get to that point, it can be really discouraging when you feel like, you know, you're looking at your work and you're like, man, like I don't feel like I can draw anymore, you know. And me and my brother also is someone who draws a lot. Have taken to calling it the paradigm shift, because essentially your perception of art is shifting, it's changing. And so you actually, I mean, it depends, because like it can also kind of happen when you're burning out, so you want to be careful. But you actually kind of want to lean into it, and like that's the time to kind of like take a step back and kind of like do some studies again and reapproach things and stuff like that, and kind of push through it. Because it oftentimes means you're going to be a better artist at the end of it when you get out of it. It's kind of interesting, it's an interesting phenomenon that never goes away. I actually find it becomes more frequent later on. Because early on, like, or maybe not more frequent, but more prolonged, I would say. I guess it really depends on how much time you have and how much energy you have to like really push through it. But when you're starting out, you know, everything's progress, right? Every little bit of practice, you see just like enormous growth with your art and stuff like that. It feels really good. Like it's like constant. This face has a lot wrong with it. Hold on. I'm actually going to turn this off. Welcome back there, King Bob. I need to get this eye right. That should be better a little bit. Get the focus of the eyes correct. Because she shouldn't look like she's staring at nothing. She kind of does. Until I always put this eye too high. Maybe it's actually this side that needs to be more. Let's go with that. I know this artist. Yeah, Oxide Continuum. This is a cool song. That's better. There we go. That looks more like her. A little bit at least. Because her hair should still kind of be frayed. Shouldn't be perfectly straight. She is still cutting it with a knife. Or at least it's kind of growing from that, so parts of it are going to be shorter. Okay, let's go and turn this back on and work on the body some more. What's my comic about? Well, it follows the main character, which is this character, who's just goes by blind. She has been kind of put into a world that she doesn't understand. So she's walking through it, and as she's walking through it, you're witnessing the state of existence for this world. And the whole time, the question is, you know, where is she headed? What's compelling her to leave? Because she's called. She's called by something. Glove slip, that's fine. So it's actually kind of a hard story to describe. I mean, that's, you know, why I'm making it a comic, you know, because I don't want to have to describe it. I want to be able to just tell people to read it, which you can. It's link is in the description below if it looks interesting to you. We have some pretty cool pages like this one. This is one of my favorite pages. And so basically, you know, she's seeing all these things in this world. And like I said, the whole question is, you know, what is all of this? What is the purpose of all of this? Does it have a purpose anymore? And what does that mean for the world? I have a hard time even like figuring out what yeah, let me just double check to make sure that the yeah, it's the last link. You know, I'll post the link because why not? Just throw that here and here. So yeah, what's available is up to chapter 3. And technically chapter 3 isn't done. That's what I'm working on right now is the end of chapter 3. Do I want what do I want her to do with her arm? Hashtag ASMR. Honestly, I've like, you know, I probably will next time, just for the fun of it. Because like, I think it's gotten to the point where I've earned the ASMR title. Who knows? Maybe that'll really that'll be the magic sauce to get me in front of the big wide world. Oh, this is Marble Machine. Alright, catch you later there, Firebug. Hope you enjoy the comic whenever you get around to reading it. Hope to see you back soon as well. But until then, have a good one. Man, that's one thing I haven't checked up on in a long time is the Marble Machine. I don't know if anyone's familiar, but there was a guy. Well, he's still doing it, truth be told. But like, I don't know, like 10 years ago now. It's crazy to think. He built a marble machine that would play a song, but it was really rough. Like it was made out of wood and, you know, cogs and things like that, and so it actually didn't really work. He just kind of made it look like it worked. So he wanted to make one that actually worked. So he spent a ton of time on, you know, engineering this super elaborate machine and stuff like that, and tons of hurdles and all this kind of stuff. But after a while, he seemed to get like really obsessed with creating a perfect machine. And it just kind of, I don't know, I feel like it kind of lost its way a little bit. So he has another idea for a different machine that'll be more, I guess, practical, which is funny for a machine that plays music with marbles, you know. Part of it is the unpractical nature of it. As far as I'm aware, though, the project is still moving forward. It's just taken a different shape. I need to think through. I don't like this. Hold on. My arm is about that thin, but I actually want. Arms are always kind of weird, especially when you don't actually design them properly. Truth be told, it should be, 1 second. Oh, also, good to see you there, Trippy. I didn't say hello. That's... and actually, I want this arm. I do want this arm to come up here. So, because it is cold. Because deserts get cold. Didn't you know? Funny how that happens. Uh, Truth be told, she would probably have the rope down, because that's the whole point of it, is, you know, she has it hiked up when it's warm, and then lets it drape when it's cold. But that's okay. Hello, Angel of Souls. It's been a little while. Hope you're doing well. I'm gonna hold this way. This arm isn't as low as it needs to be, so we're actually going to lower it. Doing good? That's good to hear. I've been alright. Been sick an awful lot, which really sucks. But I'm feeling better, which is nice. So, gonna take me a little while to build up that momentum though again and get some stuff done. I've been stuck on this page for, oh my gosh, like a month and a half now. It's like crazy. Like, good grief. Doggo wants out? Oh, you gotta let the doggo out. Let's pull this back. I'd like to point out that my stream is still complaining about bitrate and junk, which is really annoying. I'm glad I found a workaround, but like, that's still so irritating that it's like, okay, I know for a fact I have enough to get by. I'm just glad I did manage to find a solution though, so that it's the stream is still watchable. Should still be watchable on both sides, thanks to adaptive bitrate. At least it shouldn't be dropping frames. It says that it's not. So. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's all right. Go ahead and do some hatching here. Okay, let's see. Oops. All right, let's go ahead and scuff up clothes. There's always got to be a little bit of marks and things like that. Our skin as well. I always kind of put these little like marks on her nose. It's mostly to give shape, but I don't know, maybe she like cut her nose with a knife or something like that. This actually didn't come out too terrible. I, though, do want to lift this eye a touch. I'll do that. Okay, let's see that. That's better. I always kind of get the eyes off on the wrong plane. Let's go ahead and lift the neck. Let's see. Okay, and then we are going to draw out the thing that is making her so distraught. Whoops. Of course I screwed that up. Let's go with that, although we're gonna clean this up. What's up, Storytime? Good to have you back. I didn't like that. Well, we can try that. What happened when you were gone? Not much. Welcome back there, Angel. I'm still working on this page. I finished another piece, actually. I can just bring that up quick for people who haven't seen it yet. Because I don't know if you were here when I finished this one up. But I really like how this piece came out. So I want to do another one like it. Technically, it's not done because I forgot to do the window, but it's not really a big deal. But yeah, so I'll probably do another piece similar to this one at some point down the line. Let's see. Yeah, the question is, do I bust out the reference or do I just bust out the ruler? I think I just bust out the ruler. I kind of like the perspective as it is. And you know what? I'm gonna do it on this layer, and then the line work I'm gonna put over it, because that'll just make it easier. You know what? We're gonna try this. Because I want some cleaner lines, and it's easier to do cleaner lines up and down. Semi-muted stream. Hey, welcome back there, Firebug. Let's give that a shot. And now let's go ahead and grab a ruler. We want a curved ruler. We want that. Go ahead now and put that in. Okay. And take this down, and we're gonna push it this way. Actually, I'm not gonna have it so low. Music is a bop. My usual go-to is chiptune tracks, because I know that they're safe for the most part. This specific song is Beak, Blue Slide, or Blue Slide by Beak. If you're ever curious where I get it from, there's a channel called Krella's Relay on YouTube. If you just type in chiptune 24/7, you'll find it. a little bit worried about that. Also a little worried about that. You know, we're gonna get rid of this one. I'm also somewhat tempted to like, oops. I just realized that's gonna be a bit of a nightmare. Erase all this. Oh well, it is what it is. Probably should have put it on somewhere. Come on. Let's just start with you. Thing is, I'm tempted to actually lower the horizon. Oh, come on. Let's go ahead and erase all of this. Just see how it looks without it. This is Clip Studio Paint. Truth be told, you know, this is kind of like the standard of a lot of illustration software nowadays, is this kind of layout where you have your tools on the left, or your file edit, story, animation, whatever menus at top and stuff like that. If you've ever seen Photoshop, it looks quite similar as well. So. But it's one of my favorite drawing programs, and it's the one that I always really recommend to people who kind of want something a bit more serious for drawing software. There's a lot of good drawing software out there if you're just wanting to kind of mess around and doodle and everything like that. But if you want something that'll really give you some power to work with, and not feel like it's, you know, getting in your way, this is the program I always recommend. Okay. Now let's go ahead and finish this. Okay. And we'll turn those off for now, and turn you on for now. And check. Yeah. Okay. For the fun of it, let's go ahead and do these two guys first. So this means I need to open up the designs here. So chapter 3, we want to open up. Where are the judges? Oh, that's funny. There they are. So these are the guys that you're seeing off in the distance here. So I actually want to... Oh, that's something else. I don't know why I was there. Truth be told, I probably should. Actually, which... So let's do this. Let's go down here to here. Open up the judges so that I can reference them easily enough. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I need to just draw them really small here. No. Okay, there's that one. Now this guy. And he has this like crazy shawl looking thing. You know, when I drew these guys, I knew like, I was like, man, they're wearing an awful lot of clothes for living out in the desert, but whatever. Maybe that's just how they roll. And yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay, now let's draw her. Shouldn't be too hard either because it's from the back. The only thing is where her feet land. Might be a little tricky. I'm actually gonna turn this down so I can see a little bit better. Um, well, I can do something. This might help. Make it a touch more shallow. Make the line work. Actually, that's one thing I want to... So in theory... Yeah, I won't worry about that, actually. How long do I plan the comic to be? I plan it to be around... let me work it out in my head again. Because currently I have right around, I want to say like 70 pages done. And then when this is done, I'm going to have close to 90. So like 85 to 90 pages done. After that, each chapter, so this is the longest chapter at about almost 40 pages, 39 pages. Every chapter after that is going to be either 20 pages or shorter, maybe like 21, 22 pages, right? And there's 3 more chapters to do technically. So we're looking at another 60 pages or so. So right around like 130 to 140 pages overall. So about a graphic novel's length or so is the idea. Which is kind of crazy when it's completely unfunded and, you know, just like a spare time kind of thing. But I couldn't really think of any other way to do this comic, so... Like, could I hunt for a publisher? Yeah, probably, but like... This is such a weird comic, I don't really expect it to have an audience. At least not at first. And I'm terrible at marketing anyway, so it's like, it's hard to, you know, sell it, you know? It'll be done at some point. It'll be done one of these days. And that'll be a really kind of big thing, because I'll be able to move on to other projects, which will be nice. But I suspect it'll be another couple of years. I'm hoping it'd be really nice to get it done by next year. We'll see about that. At the very least, get to chapter 5 by next year. And, like, get most of it done. Which... Chapter 5 shouldn't be too bad in terms of, like, the demand of the art and stuff like that, but the next chapter is going to be quite demanding. It's also going to be a bit shorter, though, so it's hard to say, like... What's up, Demon? Good to have you back. Like, if any chapter is going to be, like, a short chapter, it's going to be chapter... well, it's going to be chapter 5, truth be told. But chapter 4 might also be kind of a short chapter, because, like, not a ton has to happen. It's actually, like, pretty straightforward what has to happen, and so I'm hoping to be able to, like, not have a ton of volume to work through, but I need to write the script for chapter 4. There's, like, the thing that's gonna really make chapter 4 take time is some of the designs are gonna be tricky. Some of the, like, on some of the characters and such, and just the environment. But it's gonna have some really cool moments. I'm really looking forward to doing chapter 4. And what's really cool is, you know, when I started this project, I really wasn't confident in being able to pull off, like, visually what I had in mind for chapter 4, because I had chapter 4 in mind pretty early on. But it was like, I knew it was going to be really demanding, so I figured, well, I have, you know, a few years before I need to draw that, so hopefully by then I'll be a bit better, a bit more confident in my ability. And now I am. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is it's like... I feel like with a publisher, it would be like... there'd be a lot of, like, unnecessary tension with this project. I have other ideas that would probably be more orthodox, but this one's just so out there that it's like I kind of have to do it on its own, and just, you know, my marketing scheme is just like these streams, pretty much. Probably not the best, but it's kind of working. I don't know, people are taking interest, which is nice. It's always nice when there's some interest. I'll also like I do want to like do a printed run if I can, and I'll do like some kind of Kickstarter or something like that. Probably I want to try to keep it like super modest though. Like if I could only print like 20 of the books and get them out to 20 people, then like I'll be happy, right? I'm certainly not expecting to profit from it. But I want there to be a physical book, even if it's fairly limited. Truth be told, when I started this project, I definitely, well, I don't know if I underestimated it per se. Well, I probably did. I didn't really think through, okay, I'm going to be working on this for the next, 5 years. Because I've been working on it for, 3 years so far. This will be the 4th. In terms of just the comic. That doesn't even include the short film I made based on the story. Initially. Which was another year. So technically I've already worked on it 4 years. This project for 4 years, but as far as the comic goes, I've been working on this for 3, going on 4 years now. And so, could there have been, better projects I could have worked on to build up an audience, stuff that would have been more, intriguing for a larger audience? Probably, but it is what it is. I'm committed, so. I mean, a big part of it that kind of pushes me is, how many people can say that from the ground up they made a 140-page graphic novel just because they could, Heck, I don't even have like a colorist or anything like that. I am my own colorist. And color is a big part that I actually really enjoy a lot of the process of. Okay. Trying to think of how many hours I've put into it. I figure every page usually takes about 8 hours. I think 8 to 10 hours. Sometimes more, sometimes less, depending. So with about 85 pages done, probably well over 600 hours so far in this project. Probably around like 700 hours. This guy. The Rook is easier to draw because he's not human. So there's a lot you can get away with. Plus he has this mask on, so that helps. Actually, I want to see what's under here. Figure out what. comics I've seen, the author clearly doesn't care about the story beyond the money. It's frustrating to see people as dedicated to me. Well, just yeah, you do it because you love it, you know. Like, I mean, especially in this day and age when comics just do not pay, right? Truth be told, it's kind of funny though, because like I kind of fell into making a comic backwards, because you know I really love animation. That's what I really love to do. But if I was animating this whole thing, I wouldn't even be halfway through the story, right? Like after all this time, like I would maybe have like the first chapter done right now, right? So I decided, well, comics easier to make by yourself, I should say. More realistic, at least. Still takes forever, though. That's for sure. So I was like, well, I better learn how to make comics. So truth be told, this is the first comic, like proper, I've ever made. Yeah, that works. Okay. That's unbelievable. Yeah, what am I at? 10 right now? I need to do a straight line. Yeah. Oh. Backlighting is hard. It can be, especially if like you're trying to do like good composition with it. But you know, just make it glow. If you make anything glow, it'll immediately make it like better, right? It'll immediately like sell it as interesting. So give that good rim light to the subject. But yeah, the hard part with backlighting is if it's pure backlighting, you know, you're not lighting up your subject. So you gotta kind of think with a sort of noir or expressionist tint to your style. focus on a really strong silhouette. That's what I find helps. We'll just go with that. That's okay. Ah, yes, the ambition outstretches the ability. We've all been there. Curse you, conceptual storytelling. How dare you make me feel inadequate at my art form. Truth be told, though, that's actually a good reason to study black and white film in particular, because they understood lighting and blocking so stinking well back then. Actually, there's a really cool video that a guy did where he converted Indiana Jones, the first one, Raiders of the Lost Ark. He converted it over to black and white. And what it revealed, right, when you don't have all that detail of the color and scene and stuff like that, is the true strength of Spielberg. Because truth be told, like, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of Spielberg films and stuff like that, like E.T. and I think the newer Tintin was Spielberg and stuff. Like, he has a very, like, kind of cartoony nature to a lot of his films that I don't much care for. But where he shines as a filmmaker is in his blocking. Like the way the shots are framed and move is absolutely masterful. It's kind of remarkable. And so it's actually a really good thing to do is look at scenes in black and white, or look at art in black and white to really understand how they're working with the values specifically to create the effect of the composition, like what they're trying to go for with the composition, right? It really kind of strips back a lot of the noise that color adds, which can be good noise, but you want to have that fundamental understanding, right? Good, strong value. I mean, that's true. The truth be told, that's where, like, my appreciation of art really came from, for me at least, was the first time that I ever really, I guess, appreciated a movie for its artistry was watching Metropolis, and I was just so blown away. The 1927, not the animated one, because from what I've heard, the animated one is not very good. It's kind of weird that there's a remake of Metropolis that was animated in Japan, but I digress. But what really kind of blew me away was, okay, you have this film that is basically 100 years old, right? In fact, next year I think it will be 100 years old, and yet, like, artistically, you know, I was like 14 at the time or something like that, and I was like captivated. I was just like, this is doing such a good job of portraying what it's trying to portray, right? Symbolically, narratively, all that kind of stuff. And it really made me realize that the refinement of art isn't technological. It is not necessarily personal, but I mean, it is personally, but circumstantially, like, what do you have to work with, kind of thing, right? Um, and I think that that's perhaps a fallacy that the industry can find itself in, is when you want to have the magic sauce, you kind of stop developing. Like, that's the whole point, right? Is, well, we've gone far enough. We need to stop and just double down, right? It's like, well, no, that's kind of a mistake, in my opinion. And so, seeing this as this, being the age that I was and everything like that, I was like, okay, there's something there. There's something really kind of special there. So that's what really got me into movies in particular. So it might not be movies for everyone, right? It might be, comics or animation or you name it, books, right? Writing. But ultimately, I think it's that realization of the artistry that is very, very potent, and learning what that refinement truly looks like. That'll really push you artistically. It's fun stuff. It's fun to see like who like comes from where with their art and stuff like that. I find that kind of thing inspiring. I remember seeing, it doesn't even necessarily have to be art, actually. I remember seeing a post on a Jurier account. Jurier was an artist prominent in the like 70s and 80s during the kind of French comic movement. Alongside like Mobius and characters like that, part of heavy metal, and what he described, the where he kind of drew inspiration from, because he'd do these like absolutely insane like depictions of these machines in space and very sci-fi kind of stuff, and where it all came from was him. When he was younger, standing in fields out in, and the stars are out and stuff like that. And there were these, old tractors and old pieces of, farm equipment lying around and whatnot. And that's a very real, tangible experience. I think that really goes a long way when you have stuff like that feed into your art. As opposed to just, like, oh, I enjoyed this cartoon, kind of thing. Like, there's nothing necessarily inherently wrong with that, but it can be, it can be blinding, I would say, where you're obsessed with the product. And so you're constantly pursuing that. That's what I see, unfortunately, a lot of, is kind of this obsession with the product, or what you imagine the product to be. In reference to, maybe what you grew up with or whatever, right? Funny enough, that's actually what I wanted to get into, but in kind of a different way. Because yeah, that stuff is really fun to depict. Is just that, um, acting, if you will, right? Um, on that note, if you want to see an absolutely phenomenal performance of acting, 1989's Henry V, guy that played Henry, was downright genius in his performance. But for me, it was a little bit different in that, because theatrics are very, for the reason of the art form, very overstated, right? Very like, because you're acting to the back of the room, right? And so it's that exaggerated, just very like larger than life kind of performance, which is really cool and really fun, and can give a tremendous performance. And I think it's really important to learn to appreciate that, honestly. But what I kind of find myself gravitating towards personally is kind of the understated, the small details. So that's kind of the fun thing with acting, animation, or art and stuff like that, is there's kind of two sides to it. There's that very exaggerated, very, impactful side to it, but then there's the very understated side as well. It's good stuff. We won't worry about that. That's what was really fun though about having Blind wear a mask in the film. Because when I animated it, I couldn't rely on just showing her expression, right? I had to get creative with how I showed it. Well, even just like, body language, or how someone like stands, right? So much. Or what's really cool and what's really fun, and you kind of get this with like Kurosawa, is showing the emotion of a piece, or the emotion of a scene or something like that, not just with the characters but with the scene itself, the environment itself. How does the environment tell the story? How does the shot choice or the composition itself, depict that? That's when it gets really cool. That's when, like, oh man, you can, that to me is like really where the fun stuff is in enjoying a film or an animation, or really anything. I try my best to integrate that into this comic, but comics are still kind of a new field for me, so it's, oh shoot, dang it. It's a challenge for sure. But even like pages like this, where you have just the weight of this, like what this depicts, kind of, hanging over her and whatnot. Stuff like that. I love stuff like that. Timothée Chalamet. I'm not gonna lie. Truth be told, I've only seen him in a couple films. I don't much care for his acting, but maybe it's just a matter of me not seeing his best performance. Because I watched him in, what was that Netflix film, The King or whatever, which I didn't have strong feelings one way or the other with it at first, but then I watched Henry V, which is the same story, and that guy's performance just blew it so out of the water that I looked back on that. I was like, man, Timothée Chalamet didn't really do much in that film, did he? But I don't know. Yeah, maybe like something like that kind of shows more of his strengths, and I haven't seen it. It's kind of funny that you call it micro acting, because truth be told, to me that just is acting. those subtleties, in my opinion, should almost always be there, unless like the absence of them is more in line with the story or the scene work or something like that. Which I could see being the case for certain things, but for the most part. And just facial expressions. Okay, interesting. I really should kind of branch out and watch more films. It's been a while since I've really like sat down and watched movies for the sake of watching movies. Truth be told, I was thinking Lawrence of Arabia on my to watch list. I gotta get around to that one. Animation is emphasized so much to exaggerate. That's true. That's 100% true. Animation is very much more focused on that exaggeration, which I completely understand, but I also think is a shame because I understand it because like the fact of the matter is getting those smaller details within acting it's so much work. So it's often not really focused on, you know, the focus is more on like bigger picture stuff, the exaggeration of life and everything like that, which makes sense. It's fair enough. But man, I love it when something, in animation in particular, that sort of thing is emphasized. That's one of the reasons that I really enjoy like Song of the Sea, for example. Is they do depict that. It's not like super intensive, but it's there, and it really like it sells certain aspects of the story that like wouldn't be there otherwise. Honestly, yeah, you can get you have such fine control over 3D that yeah, you can really do that, I would say. But I think that there's, you know, ways to do in 2D. There's almost kind of like a minimalist way of doing it in 2D that is worth exploring as well. I will say though, I remember watching Rogue One, the Star Wars movie or whatever, and really being put off by what is it, Grand Moff Tarkin? I think his name is Tarkin or whatever his name is. Because obviously it's supposed to look like Peter Cushing, and Peter Cushing's passed away, and so they digitally recreate him because, you know, can't just recast him, I guess. But like visually, like, okay, you know, the skin has perfect you know, subsurface scattering, the lighting is like immaculate, and when he's standing still he looks good or whatever. But the second he starts talking, he looks like a doggone Muppet, right? And the reason is because what you mentioned there, Demon, is because it's very clear that the animators who was working on it, not really in their fault necessarily, because they're trained animators very clearly, but they exaggerate everything, and so this character looks like an animated, like a 3D animated character, and not like a person. Certainly not like Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing never talked like that. And so it just came across so awkward. It was just like, nah, just cast someone, you know? Like, there's plenty of talented actors out there who could, you know, who look close enough, I'm sure. You know, we all know, like You're not fooling anyone. We all know it's not pure Cushing. Right? Like, I don't know. It's just kind of goofy to me. Okay. I might do more with this. But otherwise, I'm gonna call it here. Yeah, I might need to kind of refine Desert Sands, kind of. Okay. Well, it works. At least the page is done. The page is done. I can finally move on to page 6. 15, so I'm not even halfway done. And this one, oh man, this page is gonna be a lot of work. And the next page is gonna be a lot of work. Honestly, the next, like, all the pages are gonna be a lot of work. I really got ambitious with this set of pages. So yeah, that's, oh boy. Yeah, this page is also going to be a freaking ton of work. But it is what it is, right? The story, it's what the story really called for, and so I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. It might take me a few months, but yeah, that's what it is. Honestly, if I can get this chapter done by March, that'd be good. I'd actually be pretty happy with that. Because then I can move on to chapter 4, do the designs and all that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. This was actually a really fun stream. Always really nice to have some company to chat with while I'm working on stuff. Oh, I'm sorry there, Firebug. I didn't. It looks like I missed your chat. Let me. If you're still there, let me go and read this. To be honest, that's why I don't like AI very much. Personally, I feel like if you set everything aside, it's just so boring. You don't get to learn about the talent behind it or relate to the creator. Yeah, actually, I mean, at the end of the day, kind of that's the problem with AI is it emphasizes the product so much that there's no like there's no how to put it, process to build into, right? Which is a big part of what makes a movie or a comic or something like that special, right? Is you want it to, you want to see the fingerprints. That's what I always say, and I think whether people really appreciate it or not, those fingerprints are important. They really are. So, and I think we'll ultimately see that. I'm personally not really worried about the whole AI thing. I think it's going to make a mess for sure, which sucks, but I think ultimately it's going to kind of reveal itself and we'll be back to square one sooner than later. But with all that being said, yeah, thanks for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed yet and you want to catch more streams in the future, I would recommend that. It's always really nice. We're getting closer to 200 subs, so that's really cool. That's super exciting, and I really appreciate everyone who has stopped by and subbed. Just from the streams alone, like, that is something that you don't do on YouTube, right? So super grateful for that and really appreciate it. But with all that being said, I'll be back on Thursday for more work. We're going to be starting the next page, hopefully. Maybe also doing some painting. I don't know. It depends. Depends on how I'm feeling. But we'll see. Otherwise, though, take care, all of you. Have a good one, and I hope to see you again soon. So, goodbye. Goodbye. Take care.